$1,000. For some people, that is 2 weeks of work. For others, 2 months of sacrifice. For a few, it is the result of selling something, cutting every unnecessary expense, or finally breaking a spending habit that has been costing them for years. However you got here, $1,000 sitting in your account feels like a moment, like something is supposed to happen now. And you are right, something is supposed to happen, but what happens next is where most people get it completely wrong. The average American with $1,000 in savings does one of three things. They let it sit in a checking account earning almost nothing. They spend it on something that feels good today, but is worth nothing tomorrow. Or they freeze, paralyzed by too many options, and they do nothing at all. The wealthy do none of those things. And today, I am going to show you exactly what they do instead. 5 specific moves. The same moves that separate people who stay comfortable from people who build real, lasting financial freedom. This is not theory. This is not motivation. These are the exact mechanics of how wealth actually starts. And it starts with $1,000 deployed correctly. Stay with me. Before we get into the 5 things, I want to address the most common thought people have when they hear this topic. $1,000 is not enough to change my life. I hear this all the time. And honestly, I understand it. $1,000 does not feel like power. It does not feel like wealth. In the face of rent, student loans, car payments, and the general cost of living in America today, $1,000 can feel almost irrelevant. But here is what the wealthy understand that most people do not. $1,000 is not the destination. It is the proof of concept. It is the first time you demonstrate to yourself and to the mathematical forces of compounding we have talked about in this series that you are serious, that you can accumulate, that you can resist the immediate pull of spending in favor of the long-term power of building. Every wealthy person you have ever admired had a first $1,000, and what they did with it, the habits, the thinking, the decisions they made in that moment shaped everything that came after. So let us talk about those 5 things. Number 1, they build a small but real emergency fund first. This might surprise you. You might expect the first move to be something exciting, an investment, a business, a high yield account. But the very first thing financially intelligent people do with their initial capital is protect themselves from going backwards. Here is why this matters more than almost anything else. Without an emergency fund, every unexpected expense, a car repair, a medical bill, a broken appliance, goes directly onto a credit card. And credit card debt at 20 to 25% interest is one of the fastest ways to destroy wealth before it even starts forming. The wealthy do not carry high interest debt because they built a buffer before they started building wealth. They removed the conditions that force most people into expensive debt in the first place. Now, $1,000 is not a fully funded emergency fund, but it is the critical first layer, the buffer that stops small emergencies from becoming financial crises. If you do not have $1,000 set aside in a dedicated high-yield savings account right now, that is your first move. Not the most exciting move, but the one that protects every other move you make from this point forward. The wealthy protect their foundation before they build upward. So should you. Number 2, they eliminate high-interest debt immediately. This next move is ruthless and decisive. Any debt carrying an interest rate above 7% gets attacked aggressively. Credit cards at 20%, personal loans at 15%, buy now, pay later balances, anything high interest. And here is the logic that makes this undeniable. Paying off a credit card charging 20% interest is the equivalent of earning a guaranteed 20% return on your money. There is no investment on earth, not stocks, not real estate, not crypto, that offers a guaranteed 20% return with zero risk. Eliminating high-interest debt is literally the highest guaranteed return available to you. And the wealthy understand returns. Most people try to invest while they are still drowning in expensive debt. But if your investments earn 10% while your debt costs 20%, you are losing 10% on every dollar you are not using to pay that debt down. You are investing while bleeding. Pay the debt first, then invest from a clean foundation. Number 3, they make their money start working immediately. Now we get to the part most people are waiting for. Once the emergency buffer exists and high interest debt is addressed, every remaining dollar gets deployed into assets that grow. And the wealthy start this process immediately. They do not wait until they have more money. They do not wait for the perfect investment. They do not wait for the market to feel safe, because they understand something most people never fully grasp. The single most expensive thing your money can do is sit still. For a first $1,000 going into the market, the move is simple. Not glamorous, Not complicated. Simple. Open a Roth IRA. Fund it with whatever portion of your $1,000 is available and put it into a broad market index fund. Every month you delay investing is a month of compounding you can never recover. Time in the market is the most valuable resource a young investor has, and you cannot buy more of it at any price. If you are 25 years old and you invest $1,000 today in an S&P 500 index fund averaging 10% annually, that single $1,000 becomes $45,000 by the time you are 65, without adding another cent. $1,000, 40 years, $45,000. That is the math of compounding. Number 4, they invest in the asset with the highest guaranteed return, themselves. This is the move that separates people who build wealth slowly from people who build it rapidly. Financial assets grow at 10, maybe 12% a year on a good year. But a skill, a certification, a course, a mentor, applied correctly, can increase your earning power by 20, 30, even 50% or more, permanently. The wealthy understand that human capital, your knowledge, your skills, your ability to create value, is the highest returning investment that exists, and they fund it deliberately. $1,000 invested in a high-income skill, copywriting, coding, financial analysis, video editing, sales, can pay for itself in the first month you apply it, and then keep paying for the rest of your career. But the key word there is apply. Knowledge only compounds when action follows it. Number 5, they plant one long-term seed, and this final move is the one that most directly predicts whether someone becomes wealthy or stays financially stuck forever. After the emergency fund, after the debt, after the investing, after the self-investment, whatever is left, even if it is only $100, gets planted into something that can grow independently of their time. Maybe it is buying your first dividend-paying stock. Maybe it is creating a small digital product. Maybe it is starting a content platform. Maybe it is building a simple website. Maybe it is planting an investment for your future family. The specific seed matters less than the act of planting it, because in that moment, something deeper changes. You stop being someone who consumes and you start becoming someone who builds. That identity shift from consumer to builder, from spender to owner, is one of the most important financial transitions a person can ever make. Because once you start seeing yourself as someone who plants seeds, you start seeing opportunities everywhere. And they are everywhere. Let me bring this together one more time. 5 things the wealthy do with their first $1,000. 1, they build a real emergency buffer. 2, they eliminate high-interest debt. 3, they deploy money into the market immediately. 4, they invest in themselves strategically. And 5, they plant one long-term seed. $1,000 is not the goal. It is the beginning of a habit, the beginning of a system, the beginning of a completely different financial life. And the people who understand that, the people who treat that first $1,000 with seriousness and intentionality, are the people who look back 20 years from now and realize something important. Wealth was never built in one giant moment. It was built through small decisions made consistently over long periods of time. And one of those decisions might start today. You have that choice right now. Make it count. If this video gave you clarity, go back and watch the first 2 videos in this series. We covered compound interest and 7 passive income streams, and everything in those videos builds directly on what you learned today. And subscribe so you do not miss next week. I am breaking down the budgeting method that actually works, because I tested every single one so you do not have to. I am Finn, this is Finn Wealthwise, and I will see you in the next one.